Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back. I'm Lady Hattie, and this is Eyes. Let's not waste my time spent in film school. Today I'm going to be talking about Doctor Strange. So if you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any and all spoilers, leave now. This is your only chance. If you want to avoid big spoilers, I'm going to give just my basic opinions first, and then get into the big stuff. I'll let you know first. I'm just playing a little World of Warcraft in the background because, it felt like it'd be better to have some video for you instead of just a plain black screen or whatever. So, here we are. We obviously went to an early screening, well, not quite early screening, but opening night of Doctor Strange, which apparently now opening night starts 7 o'clock on Thursday, so we did that. Now, I wasn't terribly wanting to go opening night because way too many people, but some friends wanted to go, so we said we'd go ahead and go with them. So we did, and I was really excited for this movie. I've always just loved the idea of Doctor Strange. I'm much more of a fantasy fan than I am a science fiction or superhero fan, but so this excited me, especially when it was the lovely Benedict Cumberbatch. But I don't know. I wasn't quite as into it as I feel like a lot of people were. So, and I'll get into that more a bit later. I was hoping for more fun. I'm used to stuff like the Avengers and Deadpool and all that. It was a little serious for my taste. Cumberbatch is really the only one making jokes, which makes it feel a little weird. But it's a good movie. It's definitely a good movie. If you can handle doing 3D, I would absolutely suggest it. The visuals are amazing. If you're like me and your visual issues won't let you, then you're not missing a whole lot. Just same as any other movie it's clearly made for it, but you're gonna have fun either way. There's definitely stuff that you can have fun with. With that out of the way, generally it was a good movie. It's a Marvel movie, so I'm gonna be a little harsher on it, but it was a good movie. And I'd see it if you have the chance. If it sounds like something you're into, but if you really only watch Marvel to see the Avengers, you can skip this one. You can just watch the teaser and get the Doctor Strange bit for the Infinity War, and you'll be good. Sorry if that was too much of a spoiler for you. It should be obvious. Everyone's going to be in Infinity War. So, yeah. Oh, there are 2 teasers at the end, one in the mid-roll and one at the very end of the credits. So stick around if you enjoy those. So that is going to be the spoiler-free bit. I can't guarantee anything after this will. So, getting right into it. Movie opens and it is Inception. You've seen Inception, you've seen this opening just with better graphics. And just from that bit, I already knew the biggest problem I think we're going to have with this movie in the future is it's going to be dated by next year. Whatever Marvel is doing next year will already be making these effects look outdated. They're cool, they're crazy cool, but they're obviously cutting edge, and they're constant. There are very few scenes that do not have just all of your special effects going everywhere. So after after the starting bit, we go into 20 minutes of an episode of House. It really feels like it. It's the asshole doctor being a better surgeon. Well, in this case, he's a surgeon. But doing, things he shouldn't be able to do, but he's the best, and he insists that he can do what other people can't, and he proves he can, and his ex-girlfriend saying, oh, why can't we still be together? But it's because he's too dark, he's too gritty. And then, he gets a call while he's driving with, oh, do you want to take this case? No, that's not interesting. How about this one? No, that sounds boring. That wouldn't get, how about this one? Oh, that could risk my record. So, it's very much, it's really, that was again part of my biggest problem with the movie is it just feels like there's this big disconnect with what I felt like we might be getting going in, having seen a lot of these Marvel movies and expecting a little more fun. There was just way too much medical drama, and obviously that drops pretty quickly. He gets in his big car crash, his hands are ruined, and then You think, oh, okay, now's where it gets interesting. No, no, we have another like 15, 20 minutes of Dr. House. So, I mean, obviously not literally, but it's him. Okay, now his hands are broken. He can't be a surgeon. Now he's gonna go and try all these different surgeries and insult all these different doctors and spend all of his money until he finds this guy who says, hey, there's this thing out in I don't remember exactly where they went, somewhere out in Asia where you could meet someone and she can uh, teach you what you need to know and she can help you fix your hands because she taught me how to walk again. And this is another one of those silly bits because this is the Marvel Universe. By this point, I believe they've name dropped at least two of the Avengers members. The fact that this guy is like, magic, no, I don't believe in magic, is really, really silly. Like, it's distracting. Like, he goes out there, and Tilda Swinton who is an amazing badass in this movie, but you kind of knew that going in. She has to convince him that it's worth it to give this a try. I feel like you reach the point where some guy is like, I couldn't walk, now I can. He goes and he finds this guy's chart. He proves guy couldn't walk. He meets the guy. Guy can clearly walk. That should really be all you need at this point. Sorry about that. That was my cell phone in the background. But no, he needs to be very, very convinced of it. And it's, like I said, it's a little off-putting. But once he does, he goes through and he sees, oh, okay, well, this magic is there. That doesn't necessarily mean that, he can do the magic, and he puts it down to it's just his hands. But no, it's because he's a scientist. He doesn't believe. So it's very much your basic hero's journey, which it makes him Harry Potter. So we've now got Harry Potter. Sorry, I know I'm getting a little heavy on the comparisons. So they dump him out on Mount Everest until he can finally summon a portal and go back home. And that is when the movie finally really begins. He proves that he can do his magic, and now he can go out and start he doesn't leave, but he starts finding all these different spells and starts progressing faster than anyone else. And he finds this book, and the librarian is actually really funny. Like, he plays the straight man to a lot of Benedict's stuff, but he's also just really funny in how he does. So that was nice, having that little bit of extra comic relief. It really could have used more of that. But, he's stealing books from the librarian, and he finds this eye and this ritual that lets him turn back time and find out the other rituals. And, it is heavy on the magic, which is something I was worried about. I was kind of worried it would be, magic done with these superpowers that have otherwise been shown, Here, you can do these couple basic things, but you can't really be creative with it. But yeah, I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job. It kind of makes me think of if you've ever played the World of Darkness mage game with what you can do with that. Yes, you're still pretty limited, but once you know what your abilities are, you can get really creative with it. And they do. They get really creative. There's a point where Doctor Strange is fighting 3 other former members of his cult that now have their own little death cult. It's a very culty movie. And, they're all using different abilities, they're all fighting different ways, but it's all fairly effective. And I really like that. It seemed like everyone's doing their own thing, rather than everyone fights the same way, everyone does the same thing, and that's the only way that you would fight in this situation, which, again, was a nice change, especially in the Marvel Universe. So we find out that there's this big bad who is her former star pupil, or, who was the Ancient One, his former pupil, and he's got his little cult, like I mentioned. And I do have to say, like, clearly this is Dr. House joins a cult and learns magic, which is kind of hilarious. Like, they try and play it up. No, this is not a cult. they take advantage of hurt and sad people and teach them this mystic stuff, and then give them a reason to stick around. It's a cult, guys. That's okay. I mean, it's a good cult. It's a useful cult, but it is a cult. Anyway, so the other evil cult, they're trying to steal even more power, destroy the world, of course. And Benedict Cumberbatch's cult has to stop them because they're drawing power from this evil dimension, and big battle after big battle, but it all is fairly well paced with your basic, getting to know these characters. He does end up going back to the hospital and the girlfriend at one point to get patched up, and I was really hoping by then we'd finally have some character develop for her. We did not. She is really boring. For everyone who's complained about Pepper Potts, this girl makes her look like Tony Stark. Like, she is no character. It was disappointing, especially because I know who she is supposed to be in the comics. She's supposed to be, who, and I've forgotten the name. The gal, she's a doctor. She sets up her own group that's helping and taking care of the superheroes because, they can't go to just a regular hospital. And, so she needs to be this interesting character, and obviously they've replaced her with another very similar character for the TV shows, and again, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. But, I just wish they'd done more with her. She very much feels like any woman you're ever going to see in a superhero movie who's nothing more than a love interest, which is frustrating. I don't want to get too feministy on this, but come on, there are not a lot of women in this. One of them turns out to be kind of evil, one is definitely evil, and one is boring. That's not great, guys. You can do better than that. So, and even then, Christ. So the Ancient One dies about halfway through, and we find out, oh, she's been taking power from the Dark Dimension. And so it's just up to Benedict Cumberbatch to suddenly be the chosen one and save everyone in big battle, which his big battle is hilarious. I have to say, I adore the climax fight because he doesn't. He defends himself, and that's about it. I think I mentioned that he's got this power that lets him turn back time. So he just does that over and over again. He comes up to the big boss and says, I'm here, I want a bargain. And, Big Bad says, no, I will destroy you. And he says, okay. And he does, and Benedict turns back time. And this guy's been living outside of time, so, 30, 40 times killing Benedict Cumberbatch would be too much for anyone, I suppose. I mean, I think I'd do other things with Benedict Cumberbatch in my own dimension, but that's getting a little unfamily friendly now, isn't it? So, he saves the day, everyone goes off, and one of our heroes turns villain. Mordo. Like, really, they named the guy Mordo. And again, I know this is from the comics, and for you comic folks, that's a big spoiler. But the names, they make it really hard. You've got Dr. Stephen Strange, which is like the most easy to remember name you could possibly have, and then you've got all these just ridiculous names. Okay, so the librarian's Wong, that's easy enough, but everyone else, it's bad enough that the actors have interesting names, and now I'm supposed to remember their character names. It's not going to happen. You're getting descriptions. I'm sorry. But, I mean, that's a personal nitpick. If you're reading the comics, of course you're going to remember these people. And I'm sorry for the gameplay in the background. Clearly, I just cannot for the life of me find the person I'm supposed to be talking to. Never mind. I didn't want to read stuff and get distracted from what I was talking about, and got distracted anyway. So, getting back to the movie. Overall, it was fun, and obviously the visuals were fantastic. They do an amazing job of something that should be incredibly hard to do, showing multiple dimensions at once, and that's where you see all that stuff in the trailer where it looks like the world's being split apart and your Inception stuff. Like, it's really well done, and it makes sense. Like, multiple dimension theory is such a complex idea. I mean, that's where a lot of the basics of string theory come from. And yet they're able to show it in this visual medium that is going to be understandable to people who have absolutely no interest in knowing all that science aspect of it. So I thought that was absolutely fantastically done. Their weapons are really wonderfully done. Somehow they give a cape personality. Like, I think his cape might be my favorite character in the movie. It's adorable. And it's pretty much carpet from Aladdin. So, they did a really good job with that. Benedict Cumberbatch's accent, you get used to it eventually. Mads Mikkelsen plays our bad guy, and he is, as always, fantastic. I mean, you wouldn't buy it if he wasn't playing a villain, so thankfully they don't try and play that up. But he did a wonderful job. There was a lot of great acting. I think your love interest, I don't think it was the actress so much as what she was given to work with. I mean, they just tried to make her milquetoast as anything, and it showed. Just overall, if you think you're going to like it, you probably are. I think I'm getting real nitpicky with it. Usually with Marvel movies, the ones I like less are the ones everyone else likes more. I wasn't a big fan of Ant-Man, and everyone I know loves Ant-Man. So, if you think you'll like it, you'll like it. Go give it a try. I would definitely not suggest anyone, not give this one a try. It was a little heavy. I came out of it feeling a little bummed, and it definitely felt like, the chosen one finds magic, saves the world story. But done with Benedict Cumberbatch and amazing visuals and great writing. So, it's hard to complain, even though it's not a terribly new story or idea. So, I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say about it. Sorry, I'm new to this, I'm doing my best. So, yeah. I hope you do give it a try. Like I said, give the 3D a try if you can. I wish I was able to. And, yeah. So thank you all for taking a listen. I hope you had fun. And I hope you have a great day. I'll see you all next time.